Hi, this is VoiceBridge, a space where we don't just listen to stories, but build bridges between cultures, between ourselves and others, and most importantly, between ourselves and ourselves. Today's episode is a little quieter, a little deeper, a little more personal. We're talking about home, about something that seems so simple and yet so elusive. Is home a place or a feeling? What makes a place a home? Can we feel at home in places we've never lived? Or on the contrary, feel out of place somewhere we've spent our whole life? Today, we're joined by Sarah, and this won't just be a conversation. It will be a reflection, spoken out loud. I would like to start with this question. Can home be something fluid, like a heart you carry with you? Many people today have no fixed address and choose to live on the road.
Of course it can. Home doesn't always have to be the four walls and the roof. It can be the feeling of warmth, peace and safety, something you carry within you. Even when people live on the roads, they can still feel at home if they feel comfortable and free. I believe that home is more about how you feel than where you are.
What gives us a sense of belonging, a passport or a language, the smell of food or an embrace?
Officially is a thing like passport and knowing the language, but truly is the people around us, our family, traditions and shared memories. A language we speak with our loved ones, the taste of food we grew up with, and a hug from someone who knows us deeply. That's what creates belonging.
Why do we sometimes feel like strangers in a place where we are loved and can feel at home in solitude?
I think it depends a lot in our inner state. Sometimes, even if we are surrounded by love, something inside us doesn't feel right. That's what makes everything feel distant. And yes, I believe we can feel at home in solitude, especially when we are at peace with ourselves.
Do we need to return somewhere to call it home? Or is home something we create within ourselves and carry to the places where we are awaited?
Home for me is the first and foremost a feeling of coziness and comfort. Some people call places home just because they like them, but I think true home is a bit deeper. You can carry it with you, especially if there are people waiting for you with a warmth and open hearts.
What remains home when everything else changes?
When everything changed, I think home is a feeling you return to in memories in your heart. Maybe it's a smell, a song, a childhood object, or just a quiet place in your mind where you still feel safe.
Do you have an inner geography, places you revisit in memory to feel safe?
Yes, I do. There are places I think about when I feel lost or unsure, like my grandmother's kitchen or a sunny afternoon in my hometown. These memories make me feel calm and grounded, like I'm still connected to something real.
Does the language we first cried in become a kind of home? Or maybe home is a look, a familiar gesture?
I believe so. The first language we spoke or even cried in holds something very deep, like the root of who we are, and sometimes it's just a look, a touch, or a gesture that feels so familiar it brings you home instantly.
Can it be that home isn't a place at all, but a state between 2 points, between past and future?
That's a ravishing thought. Maybe home really is that place between what we are and what we are becoming. Not a destination, but a quiet feeling in between when we are not lost, but not fully arrived either, just present. Sometimes we look for home on a map, sometimes in someone else's eyes, Sometimes it finds us in a moment of stillness, in the smell of rain, in the words we whisper to ourselves. Being home isn't always being somber. Sometimes it's simply being. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay close to yourself and return to the place where you feel truly at peace.
This was VoiceBridge. See you at the next crossing.